Welcome back to Just Scrap Radio on BJPenn.com. I'm your host, Cole Shelton. Episode 25. We got a good lineup for you ahead of UFC 257 and UFC Fight Island 8. We're first up going to be joined by one half of the co-main event of UFC 257 in Dan Hooker, who welcomes Michael Chandler to the UFC. This should be a phenomenal fight. A really good one. Michael Chandler said he's the best lightweight in the world for some time, so we're really going to find out, is he that good, or is he just fighting lesser competition in Bellator? This should be a great fight. Two amazing strikers. Chandler probably has a wrestling advantage, but man, this is going to be a great fight in the lead up to McGregor Poirier. Like, you couldn't ask for a better fight as the co-main, so this should be a good one. We're then joined by the UFC Fight Island 8 headliner, Michael Chiesa, to talk about his Wednesday. Yes, his card is on Wednesday, just in the lead up to the 257. They're doing a card on Wednesday. Michael Chiesa battles Neil Magny. I talked to Chiesa just about that fight, what this past year has been like. He hasn't been able to fight since last January to beat RDA, and just the state of the welterweight division. He says the division's going to get moving. He's heard from some people in the UFC that this is a real focus for the UFC, is they got to get this division moving. It was kind of stagnant last year. Kamaru Usman only had one title defense. After May, after like Gilbert Burns beat Tyron Woodley, like he didn't get a fight. Colby Covington only had one fight. Mazda only had one fight. Like, it was really disappointing for the division. So Chiesa talks about that and just what a matchup against Magny is. So Magny's obviously a lot taller, a lot longer, good striking. Chiesa probably has a wrestling advantage. So that should be a good fight. And then we're next up going to be joined by Matt Frevola to preview his main card scrap on UFC 257 against Otman Azaitar. This has the makings of a fight of the night or performance of the night. Both guys, finishers. Otman Azaitar just needs one punch. You can shut your lights out. Matt Frevola has proven he has a solid chin. If he can drag this fight down to the later rounds, which he told me he thinks he's going to have a lot of success, he doesn't think Otman Azaitar has the cardio to keep up in the second and third round with him. So if he can bring it into the late rounds, perhaps he goes out and finishes and takes Otman Azaitar's and just really gets a lot of momentum after that win. And finally, we're going to be joined by Roxanne Modafferi to preview her fight against Viviane Araújo on Wednesday. Roxanne Modafferi coming off a loss. She knows she's coming off the win over Andrea Lee. So that was obviously a good fight. It's going to be interesting. Araújo is someone that had a lot of hype. Lost to Jessica Ai, kind of ruined some of that stock. But if Araújo can go beat out Roxanne Modafferi, she's going to get another top 10 girl. But Modafferi is always underrated. She's someone that doesn't get enough respect. We saw her get the upset win over Macy Barber. She has what it takes to pull off an upset here. She's a big underdog. She likes that. So this should be a really fun fight. But thank you all for listening. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Be sure to share the show, subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. And thank you all for listening. And we're joined by UFC lightweight Dan Hooker, who's got a big fight. Dan, how's it going?
Yeah, not too bad. Training hard as usual. Eat, sleep, train, repeat. That seems to be the secret.
Before we get into your fight, this is kind of a weird one. There was talk about a report came out a month ago you're fighting Chandler. Then it came out that they're trying to book Gaethje Chandler, and then Dana White says, "Oh, they were going for Oliveira versus Chandler." Like, what has this been like for you?
Yeah, so I was approached about this fight. I heard they were trying to make Gaethje Chandler before I was approached about the fight. Then I was approached about the fight a while back. So I've been training. I've been training for this fight for like 6.5 weeks. So yeah, it was pretty funny to hear Dana announce it with Charles Oliveira's names. It's like, man, I already been training for this fight for 6 weeks, and you're gonna take it from underneath me. So I'm just glad it's all done. It's all signed, sealed, and it's actually gonna happen.
And you were one of the few guys, the top lightweights, to call him out. What intrigued you so much? Why were you interested to call him out?
It's what it seems to be. It seems to be kind of my thing. It's what I do. I'm not like I want to fight. I want to fight the best guys. I compare and compete against the best guys. I feel like Chandler's one of the best guys. I feel like the hype behind him is definitely warranted. You know, he's been competing at the top of the Bellator division, lightweight division, since very early on in his career. So I feel like that hype's warranted. And the UFC putting him in as the backup for the title fight shows how much stock they're putting on in him as well. So that's why I was excited for this fight. The fans are excited to see Michael Chandler and the fans are excited to see him compete against one of the best guys in the division. So, I'm happy to answer that call.
And you saw what they did to him. Immediate backup fighter, gave him that giant promo on 254. Do you kind of feel like the UFC wants him to beat you because they've already invested so much money into him?
Oh, that's probably why they were trying to get someone else to beat him. That's like you can look at it one or two ways. That's just the way. That's just the way I look at it. Stylistically, I feel like he said it himself, and I feel like it's the same thing. I think he matches up great with Gagey. I feel like he matches up great with a guy like Poirier as well. And I feel like it's a good stylistic matchup for me. So yeah, Dana just spent boatloads of money to get this guy over to the UFC. I feel like I'm just gonna come out there and spoil the party for him.
Lately, Michael Chandler's been in a lot of stand-up fights, but his background is wrestling. We obviously know how good your stand-up is. Do you think he's gonna shoot on you quite often?
Oh, he mixes things up well. He mixes things up real well. His striking and his wrestling. But yeah, it's one thing to say that. It's a whole different thing to do that. Like just be like, oh yeah, I'll just take him down. That's something I've been dealing with my entire career. Not even my UFC career is shorter guys trying to duck under me and try to take me down, and I really feel like against those kind of fighters is where I do my best work and where I thrive.
How do you see this fight playing out? Because this is like a fight of the night written all over it.
Yeah, a couple, can play out a couple of ways, but I feel like there's some things that everyone understands is that he's game. He's gonna come to me. He's gonna push the fight, and that's what I love. That's what I love. The hard part is for me is a taller guy chasing after someone. So if he's gonna come to me, he's gonna start shooting takedowns. That's playing right into my hand.
You're known as a finisher, but past 3 fights have gone the distance. There a bit added pressure to snap that skid and get back with a knockout?
That's just everyone's a finisher. Everyone's a finisher on the come up. It's when you start fighting the top tier or the upper echelon of fighters where the skill sets become a lot more closely matched. Then you do find yourself getting into decisions of things. But I feel like it's still there. Everything's still there. I've still got the old magic touch, and I feel like I can pull that out at against any fighter in the division.
What do you think a win over Chandler does for you in this division? He's obviously not ranked. You're outside the top 5, but like we talked about, he has a lot of hype. Former Bellator champ, beat guys like Eddie Alvarez. Like, what's the win do for you?
Yeah, well, they put him as the backup for the title fight. Me beating him takes that spot. That puts me right back in title contention.
And you're obviously on a big card as well. What's it like to be the co-main to Connor Dustin?
Yeah, that's an awesome fight. Like that's a huge card. That's a huge card to kick off the year. Fighting on any a Conor McGregor card is you get a whole lot more eyes. So it's a massive opportunity for me to go out there and make a statement in front of a whole new base of fans.
And there's been a lot of talk that Connor wants to stay active. You and Chandler are going to be on that same time for him and his. Like, do you think a realistic scenario is you go out there, impressive performance over Chandler, you could be fighting Connor next?
Yeah, that's definitely an option. Like, it's the same thing. I would be lying if I said that wasn't, I didn't see that opportunity when I took this fight to be on the same card. Like, this fight, like our fight, is the backup for the main event. If one of those two guys get injured, Poirier or McGregor, it's not like I wish that upon anyone, but it's a funny time. It's a funny sport. Anything can happen. And if that option became available to step in and do 5 rounds with either of those two guys, I got two hands sky high for that.
Are you surprised they haven't made Conor Dustin for the belt yet? Just because Habib seems retired, who knows if he's going to come back, and that's kind of that perfect fight for the title.
I feel like it should be for the title. I feel like it's still like a possibility that they'll make that shift or make that switch. I feel like it should be, or look, without a doubt, whoever wins that fight, this next fight will be for the title. I feel like that fight should be for the title, but whoever wins that fight is the number one contender, hands down.
I know the way City Kickboxing and all you guys like to do stuff is you all like to fight around the same time, but it seems like you're always missing out on that. Like you had to fight in June when they were all fighting in the fall. Are you a bit disappointed you can't share the card with some of your teammates?
Oh man, for sure. Like that'll be cool. It makes things a whole lot easier heading over there as a team and going over as a unit. But this is a sport of opportunities. If opportunities present themselves to me, you have to jump on these opportunities. You know what I mean? I can't sit back and be like, oh no, sorry UFC, I can't take this fight because my team, like, it's you can't pass opportunities up in this game. So it's just, yeah, I've been out of sync with the boys for a while now. I've been fighting out of sync with them for a while. So things will happen. We'll end up back and fighting on the same cards one day, but it's just not meant to be at the moment.
The UFC did you a bit better with the poster this time compared to your last one. Your face you're making for Poirier.
Oh man, they did me right dirty. I swear that's not even I was trying to I would like try to redo that face. Like I can't even do that face. So I'm like 100% sure that they photoshopped that anyway. Like they photoshopped my eyebrow to look like that, because I can't even do that face.
And you're no stranger to call. It's like you called out Poirier. A win over Chandler puts you in a good spot. Do you have a couple names ready for you to call out?
Ooh-wee! You already know I do. You already know I got names. But as usual, those names will come. Those names will come in my post-fight interview. There's one thing I'm not. It's scared to say names or scared to call people out. So get the job done, shoot my shot, and line myself up another fight.
Finally, only a 3-round fight. How much do you think that's going to benefit you? Because past 2, you've had to prepare for 5.
Oh, that's a whole different ball game. I'm excited to go out there and push a hard pace, push a higher pace. Like Chandler pushes a hard pace. Like I'm excited to go out there and match that pace. 3 rounds compared to those 2 5-rounders. That's that's some deep sea. That's some deep sea diving when you get into the 5-round fights. That's a whole different ball game. So I'm excited to go back to 3, and it's a bit of a 3-round holiday.
What do you take away from the Dustin Poirier fight? Because that was obviously your first one with no crowd, just entering this one.
Yeah, definitely like way less adrenaline. Way less adrenaline coming into that one. Just with the no crowd, like no screaming fans. It's something you really got to adjust to, because I found out that's something that I really thrive off and that I really enjoy, fighting in front of the fans. So it's definitely factored into the next one. Maybe just pump myself up a little bit more before I go out.
Is there a bit of pressure just to get back into the win column, because you haven't lost 2 under eyes looking since like basically like your second year you're a pro or whatever?
Yeah, oh man, like there's shows whenever I take a loss, I kind of it brings out the best in me. I feel like my back's up against the wall. I just know how cutthroat this sport is. You put two fights, 2 losses back to back, and you're fighting. You're now fighting for your job. So I feel like that's the position I'm in. I feel like my back's against the wall, but that seems to bring out the best in me, and I'm excited to go out there and perform.
Are you excited to be heading out to Fight Island? You weren't part of that first trip out there. A lot of your teammates did it, or would you wish it was back in Vegas?
No, I'm excited to go to Fight Island. So after the fight, we have to stay because of like New Zealand restrictions. We're not allowed back in the country for another for another month. So I'm spending a month after my fight in Fight Island. So it'll be cool to get out there. UAE's, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, like um, they're doing a good job with the COVID and they've got it under control. So I'm excited to get out there and travel. It's been a long time between drinks for traveling, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that because I saw you mention that because I saw your tweet. Like, would you rather stay a month in Abu Dhabi or Vegas? What are the coaches doing? Like, are you gonna? Are some of the coaches obviously can't go just because they have to work with other guys and they can't take a month away?
Yeah, 100%. Like for me, all up with the quarantine once I get back to New Zealand and leaving early to get to Fire Island, it's a 2 months trip for this fight. So yeah, it's a long time away. If my coach would have come me, they would have completely missed Israel Adesanya's fight. We've got another big fight here in New Zealand. Junior Far's fighting Joseph Parker. So I knew this full well coming into this fight. That's why I feel like 99% of the job is done in the preparation for this fight with my coaches back in New Zealand. So, man, I'm excited to go out there and compete at my best regardless.
Are you a bit disappointed there's no other fights after you on Fight Island? Because I'm sure you could have weaseled your way into just watch some of those events live.
Yeah, obviously that'd be cool. But man, I've passed through Abu Dhabi, but I've never spent like any solid amount of time there. So I'm excited to get out there and spend some time there, explore, travel. It's something that very few people in the world are able to do at the moment.
Someone I want to ask you about is one of the guys you used to fought was Gilbert Burns. What do you make of his rise up the welterweight division? Because that was something you fought a couple years ago, and now he moved to welterweight and looks like a completely different fighter.
Yeah, no, he's doing well. It's not like you fight someone and you wish them bad. I wish him nothing but success after that fight. He was cool leading into that fight. He was cool after. He was super respectful after. We had a chat and wish each other nothing but the best. So I'm excited to see him go out there and man, hopefully win the welterweight title.
I've heard a lot of people on Twitter say, "Oh, Dan needs to change his nickname because he's no longer choking people out." What do you make of all that?
It's still there. It's still there. I don't feel like that name's going anywhere anytime soon.
Is that something you think is underrated part of your ground game? Because now everyone just views you as this striker, and everyone kind of forgot about your ground game.
Oh, it is what it is. Like if people want to forget about that, they can forget about it at their own peril. If you know what I mean. Like it's bro, the sport, the scoring is more dictated towards guys that keep it like the fans. It's more dictated towards guys that keep it on the feet. If they wanted more grappling, they would extend people's ability to fight on the ground. It's like grappling takes time. It takes time to wear someone down. It takes time to set up submissions, and it's just something that the rule set is not built around at the moment.
You're gonna be fighting at like the middle of the night in Abu Dhabi, early morning. How do you prepare for that?
Oh man, we train morning till night back here in New Zealand anyway. So I think it's like fighting midday New Zealand time. So it's gonna be it won't affect us much at all. Like it works out pretty well, the time difference from New Zealand to Abu Dhabi.
Just last thing, month-long thing you got to do in Abu Dhabi. What are you going to be doing to pass the time besides catching up on all the beers you missed?
No, it looks good. There's a bunch of sites. There's old Ferrari World, and there seems to be a fair bit to do. A fair bit to do there, and a few sites to check out. And also, it's not bad weather once we get there. It's not the middle of summer over there in the northern hemisphere, so we'll be still hotter than New Zealand, but still won't feel like we're dying in the middle of the desert.
Well, Dan, I appreciate the time, man. Thank you so much for doing this.
Nah, no trouble.
All right, we're joined by UFC welterweight who's headlining a big show coming up, Michael Chiesa. Michael, how's it going?
Going good. How are you, Cole?
I'm doing well. Thank you for doing this. First up, are you just quarantining in Vegas right now?
Yeah, quarantining and drinking coffee and getting ready to stay up for this flight. Super excited to partake in the fight week during this pandemic. You know what I mean? I wanted to be able to say that throughout my career, I was able to at least get one in during this time because it's just so weird. It's so backwards from like what I'm used to. And I think that's what makes it most interesting. And yeah, so I'm super excited to be in a fight week. It's just good to be back.
Yeah, this is obviously a big fight against Neil Magny. I know you were pushing for someone in that top 10. Was this someone you wanted, or was this just kind of who the UFC offered you?
Well, Neil and I, we've called each other out a few times. We've kind of eyed each other for a long time now. But I was really gunning for a guy in the top 5. When I beat RDA, he was ranked 5. I've been in the company a long time. I was a top ranked lightweight for a long time. But this is the fight that makes sense now. I mean, the landscape of the division when they booked the fight, this was the closest guy available to what I was looking for, and I was very prone to taking it because this is just a guy we've been eyeing each other for a while for a reason. You know what I mean? I think it's gonna be a super exciting matchup. Very excited about the fight. He's a great guy. Neil's awesome, and we're gonna have a good fight. Those are when guys have mutual respect for each other, I feel like that's what makes the best fight. So super excited. 8 versus 9, stoked.
And the UFC originally put this fight on. All the talk was this was going to be the backup for the main event. Then the main event falls out. Was there any talk of you stepping in or Neil stepping in? Like, do you think you were going to lose your fight, or you were going to be fighting Leon Edwards?
Well, I thought I was going to lose the fight, just because kind of when they booked it, I was under the pretense that Neil, something happens in this main event, and they're gonna book Neil in whoever falls out. So waking up to see the news that Chimaev was out of the fight, I was definitely thinking I lost the matchup. But I threw my name in the hat to be in the main event with Leon. Who wouldn't? You know what I mean? The guy's on a hot streak. A win over him could arguably put you in title contention. Arguably you could put you right in the front of the line for a title shot. So who wouldn't throw their name in the hat for that? But I think things worked out for the best. This is a good fight for the division. I think that the UFC, one of their goals, actually I know this is one of their goals because I've talked to some of the higher ups without naming any names. They want to get this division moving this year. They want to get these ranked. They want the guys in the rankings fighting each other. They want to get this division moving. It's so rich with talent. So the movement's begun. I think this is going to be the year of the welterweights, and I'm very excited. I'm very blessed and thankful to be in a main event spot on Fight Island against a formidable opponent in Neil Magny.
Yeah, and this is going to be your first main event since that Kevin Lee fight. Is this a bit of redemption too, to just get that one back and win the main event?
Yeah, I definitely want to run it back in a main event spot. And the thing is, man, is I'd rather like win or lose fair and square. You know what I mean? Like if God forbid Neil goes out and beats me on the 20th, if he beats me, if he finishes me, if it's a decision, whatever, as long as there's no intervention by the official that is unjust. You know what I mean? So definitely excited for my opportunity to compete in a main event again and just try to erase that. I don't even really dwell on it too much. Like, oh, my first main event, I had terrible officiating and, I got screwed. I don't really think about it too much, but like once they booked the fight, I was like, all right, this is my chance at redemption. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to let that happen again. I'm not going to let myself lose that fight. I'm going to make sure everything's in my favor come fight night.
And Neil Magny's one of the taller guys in the division, huge reach. He has I think it was a 4.5 reach advantage. Like, how big is that, just having to be able to close the distance? Because that is a big one where his style, a lot of times, a lot of people just hit that jab and don't let them get inside.
Yeah, it's tough to deal with. I won't know until I get in there with him. But a lot of my teammates are around my height, and if we weren't in the middle of a pandemic, I would have been jumping at the gun to fly in training partners and travel places and do things of that sort. But I haven't had COVID. My coach hasn't had COVID. Neither my cornerman have had it. And I just didn't want to run that risk, man. It's like, as much as I would have liked to just go get whoever I got to get to Spokane or go travel wherever I have to go to find that right look for Neil. I wanted to do it, but it just did. I don't, especially now. It's like if I got COVID and lost the fight with Neil, I'm losing the main event. You know what I mean? So I did make one trip down to Arizona, and I did get some looks from some tall guys. So actually, one of the guys was taller than Neil. Actually, and another guy right before I left, I forgot about this guy Jake that we had come in from a part of Washington, but got some good looks in the stand up. I got a lot of tall guys I train with in jiu-jitsu. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not concerned. You know what I mean? I'm not concerned at all. And I mean, he might be the tallest guy, but I'm really clicking on his heels. I mean, you haven't seen me since I've gone up to 170. I'm as big as the next guy. You know what I mean? So he still has to deal with my big frame as well. So it's gonna be a fun fight.
And your last fight, I think, surprised a lot of people because entering that was how really good was Michael at 170. And you really dominated RDA. Like that pace you put on, is that something you're going to look to put on Neil? Because I think that surprised a lot of people of how, like, you never got tired after that 3 minutes. It looks like you could go that full 5 in that fight.
Yeah, I definitely could have. I mean, and the crazy thing about the RDA fight is people don't realize I had a very compromised training camp. I broke my nose 2 weeks in. I couldn't, for the last 6 weeks, no sparring, no grappling, no rolling, no wrestling, no live training, you know, and so sorry, that was my coach just barking in on me, but you know, no live training. So, and I was able to go put that kind of pace on the guy. You know, I'm excited to show what I can do with a real full training camp behind me. Since I haven't had a full good training camp since the Diego Sanchez fight, and you saw what happened there. I pitched 2 10-8 rounds. Am I expecting to do that against Neil Magny? Probably not. I mean, this guy's as durable and as tough as they come, and I would be a fool to think that my gas tank's better than a guy that lives in Denver and he's a cardio fighter. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that he can outpace me. That doesn't mean he's going to wear me down. That doesn't mean he's going to break me. I'll fight him accordingly, and I will address his skills and I will address his strengths the way they need to be addressed. And it's going to end with me getting my hand raised. Even if I got to walk through the fire, it's going to be a tough fight. But I feel like I have the tools to get the job done.
And Neil's fought a lot of grapplers. Like he fought in RDA, he fought at Damian Meyer. Those some of the fights you've been looking at just to see how he dealt with them? Because those fights were a long time ago, though.
No, I do not at all. And I would be a fool to do that. It would be very foolish of me to go back and look at his performances against guys that he lost to. And I think that would be stupid. You know what I mean? What I'm looking at is a guy who's on a 3-fight win streak, who fought 3 times last year and is rolling. That's those. I'm looking at the fights that he's winning. Those fights, I would be a fool to look back on those losses of his and try to use them to have me get some type of false sense of security. I'm looking at the wins. I'm looking at the things he's doing right now because he's rolling and he's tough and he's. I mean, this is a guy. He's tied for second in all-time wins at welterweight. You know that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the wins, not the losses. So I got a tall. No pun intended. I got a tall order ahead of me.
Like we mentioned, he's a guy that a real cardio machine. Like, how do you see this fight playing out? Because to me, this fight could go so many different ways. I think that's why this fight is so intriguing.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to really predict this fight. I mean, I think most people would say like this fight's going to go the distance or something of that sort. But I think Neil wants to have an impressive win over me, and as I do against him. And I'm always looking to try to have the shortest night at the office as possible. I mean, the sooner you get him out, the better. But I'm not gonna. I know how to take calculated risks to make that happen. So I'm not gonna go out there and fight him blindly and try to get him out of there and end up shooting my wad and let him do what he does best, and that's take over the fight with his pace. So I'll fight him accordingly. But I think it's gonna be a tough fight for both of us.
I know every fight's important, but is there a bit more added to this one just because the main event you haven't fought in over a year, just to kind of remind the welterweight division and everyone that you're still a legit top 5 contender?
Yeah, I mean, it's the main event's really the most important thing. All eyes are on you, and when you get a win in the main event, you get that time. The most important time in a fight is when you get that microphone after you win, and when you get that opportunity after a main event, you can really. You can call for a big fight, and a lot of times you can get it. So it's really important that I win in this main event, and it's important. And maybe people have forgotten about me. So be it. I know I'm still here, and I'm very much in this sport. And just because you guys haven't seen me in here doesn't mean I haven't been improving and I haven't been broadening my skill set. But I definitely I'm not out here to remind anybody of anything. I'm just out here to get back on the horse, get a win, start gunning towards the title again. I'm trying to end this year as number 1 contender at welterweight.
Well, if you get on the mic, one fight I'd like to see you get back in there is a fight you had in 2013, that rematch with Masvidal. I think it went over Magny. I think it makes a lot of sense in the division. That division needs to get rolling. You and Masvidal would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and it'd be a hell of a fight. I mean, a lot of people don't even know that I fought Jorge Masvidal, and I think it's because maybe it flies under the radar because he looked totally different back then. who knows? But yeah, I think the world of him. He's an awesome guy. Would love to compete against him again, especially given the name that he has now and what he brings to the table. I mean, that'd be great for my career. But I mean, I am laser focused on Neil Magny right now. I'm not thinking about any other fighters. There is no outside noise right now. It's been Neil Magny this whole camp, and you know what? I'm going to shoot from the hip when I get my opportunity. I have a name kind of floating in the back of my mind, but when I get that microphone, I'm going off pure instinct. So who knows who I'll say? I don't even know. It should be a surprise for everybody, including myself.
You obviously do the desk work, which is big, but part of that desk work, you were able to go to Fight Island. How big was that to just prepare for this fight, knowing what the flight's like, knowing what the quarantine's like, knowing what all that stuff is like?
It's been great. You know, it's I wouldn't say it's advantageous, but it's because I mean Neil's a guy. He's been very active this year. He didn't go to Fight Island, but he fought 3 times here in Las Vegas, so he kind of understands what it entails. But it's nice to just know what I'm getting into. It's nice to know, like, I'm going to have this long flight. I got these quarantines. I got things of that sort. So it's good to have that ace in my pocket. And, you know, and that's the other thing, too, is being an analyst, it's been great for my career. I mean, most of the time I'm always watching fights, like putting myself in those fights. Like, oh, I watch a guy in my division. I'm only thinking about how I match up against them. I'm never really breaking them down for just what they are. You know, I'm always breaking down fights, like how I match up with him, how I match up with him, how I match up with him. Where now I'm watching fights, I'm just breaking fighters down, like objectively. I'm not putting any matchup together. I'm like, oh wow, he's good at this, he's good at that, and it's like it's given me this new broadened mindset of I can break fighters down better. I can break down their skills. I'm able to read body languages and stuff, and it's made me more cerebral. So it's the time that I had off when I had the injury and the pandemic and stuff. Getting the opportunity to be an analyst for 9 shows last year, it really sharpened my mind for the sport. So, and the mind is, I mean, the fights are 99% mental, and that goes for training, that goes for competition, that goes for everything. So having the opportunity to broaden one of the most important attributes of a fighter during this time has been vital. So, yeah, that's been great.
You were in the lightweight division. You saw that it kind of got just stagnant at the top. You moved up to welterweight. How refreshing has it been? Because, like we talked about, this division just kind of became stagnant last year, where none of the top guys were really fighting.
I mean, it's always going to kind of be like that in a division. In a lot of these weight classes where there's a lot of talent, there's not a ton of movement at the top, and it's hard to prevent that. You know what I mean? It's refreshing having a guy like Izzy. He's been fairly active. It's refreshing having guys at the top, you know, maintaining some movement. But I know that's on the UFC's. It's been brought to my attention by people within the UFC that is one of their main focuses this year, is keeping the 170-pound division moving. And I think it's going to make for a lot of exciting fights, and it's going to open up a lot of opportunities for me to achieve my goals. And, you know, my ultimate goal is end 2021 as a number 1 contender, or be in a number 1 contender fight by the time this year ends. So it's good to know that they have that in mind to get this division moving, because it's going to open up a lot of opportunities for us guys in the top 15.
The card's going to be like local time, because there's going to be fans there. How do you train for that? Because the main card starts at like noon Eastern, like 9 a.m. Pacific. So you're going to be fighting at like a time you're not really normally used to fighting.
Actually, you know, it's funny. One of my last training sessions before I left Spokane was at like 11 at night. And I'm going to be competing when it's over there. It's going to be 9. It starts at 9 a.m. West Coast time. So it's 12-hour difference. So I'll be fighting by like 11:30 at night. So there's not going to be, you know, I thought it was going to be like 2 or 2:30 in the morning. That's what somebody had told me. Not now finding out the main card starts at 9 p.m. over there. And there's nothing to change. You know what I mean? It's just maybe wake up a little later that day, but there's not going to be any naps. There's not going to be any special treatment or special approach. I'm going to go out and fight this guy. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, there's not too much to it. I'd rather have it be this way too. I'd rather fight. This is like the perfect time to compete. You're not going to get prime time over there. You know, it's going to be something weird. So I feel like this is the best option I could possibly have. So I'm excited for it.
What will it be like? I know there's not many fans, but there's going to be some, just to have a few fans. You can hear the noise and all that for your fight.
Yeah, I'm pretty, you know, when it gets to competing, I don't really, I mean, the crowd is great. I love fighting for the fans. I love the energy they bring. It's like the fans are what they bring such a special added element when it comes to competing. You know, you can feel when something big is happening in a fight, you can feel them yelling on your skin physically. Like it's such a great thing to have. But I've fought in environments without fans. You know, I was on the Ultimate Fighter for 3 months. It'll be cool to have some fans there, but I'm really just right now. I'm just focused on the fight. I'm not super focused on anything outside of that. I'm not focused on other fighters, fans, no fans, flights, start times, end times, anything. I'm just focused on Neil Magny. Just focused on the 25 minutes or less that I have to spend in an octagon with Neil Magny.
Just two more things. Obviously, you only got one fight last year, so this is part of the goal. Just get this one and try to remain active, like fight in a couple months later.
Stay active. Yeah, I'd like to. I got a few things coming up in something. I have some commentary stuff coming up. Most likely with LFA and some other things of that sort. But I do want to stay active. I'd like to, fight, bearing my health, get in there in June or July, and then get back in there by the end of the year. I like that. I like 3 fights in a year, and I like to have a little time after to recover, 12 weeks to train, fight, break, 12 weeks, this, so on and so forth. So and I got to remember now, I'm juggling 2 jobs now. I'm taking my broadcasting career very serious. It doesn't conflict with my training at all. It's really good for me. It's healthy for me. It helps me. Like I said, I'm sharpening my mind when I'm doing these things. So I like being busy. So I want 3 fights. I want to be busy next year. It's going to be good.
And last thing, as a Canadian, I have to ask this. You're out in Abu Dhabi partying with the Nelk boys. What was that like?
Man, cool guys. Steve's the man. And I love Canadians. I mean, shoot, it kills me that I can't come to Canada right now. Like, me, I'm an avid snowboarder. I love going to Banff. I love Canada. So it sucks not being able to go there, but it's cool. The Nelk boys are cool, good people. I'm just, off topic. I'm just excited for the borders to open up because the Canadian Rockies are calling my name when this fight gets over, and I'm trying to jump through some hoops to get there.
Think you can chug a bottle like Steve?
Nah, no, man. Maybe when I was 20, when I was around his age, there was a chance I could have maybe not as fast. Maybe could have done it, maybe not. But nah, I'm too old for that, man. Too old for that. I can't, how could your body absorb a liver punch at 33 if I chugged a bottle of whiskey? You know what I mean? There's got to be some long-lasting residual effects of that. So I'm not trying to deal with that.
Well, Michael, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, man.
Honestly.
All right, we're joined by UFC lightweight Matt Frevola, who's got a big fight coming up. Matt, man, how's it going?
Going good, man. Just training camp's going good, and putting the finishing touches on it now. Ready to do this.
Before you get into your fight, talk about what was it like when you found out you're going to be on this card? Because anytime you're on a McGregor card, there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on it.
Oh yeah, man, it was huge, and especially after the 2020, I had 2 fights canceled due to COVID, and then I had 1 fight canceled because I got hurt. I was definitely I was down but not out, and I never stopped training, and then once I found out this card was going down in January, I soon hit up my manager and told him this was the card we wanted to get on, and I started training for it, and we manifested it, and then we got it.
How frustrating was last year for you? Because 2019, you had 2 big wins, 2 upset wins over some the top prospects that I thought at lightweight, and then not be able to fight for you and not be able to build off that. How frustrating was that?
Yeah, it was pretty. It was definitely frustrating. That's a good word to put it. But the whole 2020 was a rough year for everybody, and I really never stopped training, which was one good thing. I continuously trained and kept leveling up and improving in my craft, and I just didn't get to put it on display for the world. But now, I kept the faith. I kept training. I knew my opportunity would come, and now we got an even bigger opportunity.
And you were supposed to fight Roosevelt Roberts. That's a guy that's wanted to fight you because you beat his friend at Jayla Turner. After he lost to Kevin Kroom, was that basically fight out the window and you were looking for a new opponent?
Yeah. I definitely see me and Rosie fighting down the line, but he's got to keep winning.
And you're fighting one of these top prospects again, not Man Astar. A lot of people are hyped up about him, undefeated. Like, was this a guy you had your eye on? Was this who the UFC offered you?
Definitely had my eye on him. I was watching that Kama Worthy fight with him and Ottman and Kama, and I watched that and saw he was undefeated, and those are the kind of things that really excite me. A guy is undefeated, all those first round knockouts, another hype train that I can derail. It all really excited me.
You look down his record, like you mentioned, a lot of majority of his wins are first round knockout. He's only been the distance once. This fight, you think, get out of that first round and then you can really start taking over?
Yeah, definitely. I think that this guy hasn't been tested like I'm going to test him. And that's what I do. I take people and I drag them into deep water and then I drown them. And that's what I plan to do to him.
How do you see this fight playing out? Because like we mentioned, I'm an undefeated. Like we've never really seen him in the UFC past that first round.
I think it's going to be a real exciting fight. I know he's going to come out hot, come out with a lot of punches. A lot of heavy shots, and I'm prepared for it. And I would just say, don't blink. It's going to be a great fight.
Betting underdog again. Why do you think you keep on being the underdog? You haven't been the favorite since you fought Polo Reyes.
Yeah, I love it. I love being the underdog, and I love proving the doubters wrong and showing my growth as a martial artist and go out there and doing what I do. Every time I step into that octagon, it's an exciting fight, and I plan on going out there and doing the same thing.
Are you surprised you've never fought Lando Venat again? Because I thought after that fight was a draw, they would try to run that back.
Yeah, I want to run that back. We definitely got some unfinished business, and again, as long as he keeps winning, I definitely see us running it back and settling the score.
Are you excited to be heading out to Fight Island, or do you wish it was in Vegas?
Oh, I'm so excited. As soon as they started, talking about Fight Island, I got like some serious Mortal Kombat vibes, and I love that. And I love to travel. I love to, fight and travel and learn different cultures and gain new experiences. And I wanted this to be on Fight Island, and we got it.
I'm not sure but do you know your card is having fans in the building as well?
I actually just saw that. I just saw that, and as soon as my brother sent me that, and then I hit up my manager and said, my dad want to come, so so hopefully they let them come. That would be cool.
With Azatar, like he just has that legit one punch dog power, but you're a guy that with Polo Reyes, he just kind of caught you, but you've had a good chin. Like everyone since it has hit you. Like how confident, or do you think people are going to overlook that and just be like, oh, he got knocked to the Polo Reyes, this guy's just going to steamroll him?
I think that's what a lot of people are going to think, but they're going to be proved wrong, and they're going to make my buddy some money.
You have an underrated grappling game. How important do you think that's going to be in this fight? Because obviously Ottman's going to want to keep this fight standing.
Yeah, definitely. And I love mixing it up. It's mixed martial arts. And one of the things I do best is mixing up all the aspects of fighting between the Muay Thai, the boxing, the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu. That's what I love to do. And that's what comes most natural to me. So that's definitely what I plan on doing.
What do you think a win over him does for you? Because he's undefeated, has a lot of hype. Like this win, if you hand him his first loss, I think that's gonna add a lot of hype to your name.
Oh, no doubt. It's a huge fight on a huge card. A lot of eyes are going to be watching, and I'm prepared and I'm ready to go in there and make the most out of this opportunity.
The one thing about Fight Island though is you're gonna be fighting out like some weird times. You're gonna be fighting early in the morning over there. How do you deal with that? Like, do you just switch up your training camps now to train at different times?
Not yet. Right now, I'm still kind of doing my same schedule, but the UFC actually just sent me like a recommendation to adjust while I'm over there, and it's looking like I think I'll probably be fighting at like 5:30 a.m. Abu Dhabi time. So I'm thinking I just gotta sleep during the day and stay up all night. I'll probably sleep from like from like 7 a.m. to like 3 p.m. and then I'll be up all night. Just get on that schedule as long as I work out at the time of around time I'm fighting. I mean, either way, I'll be good.
Yeah, because I guess it's still catered to the North American audience. The pay-per-view always starts like 10 Eastern. So is the whole thing just try to stay on American time? Don't even bother switching over to their time?
Yeah, pretty much that.
And long flight too. Like, how do you manage that weight cut? Because I talked to a bunch of fighters. They said they always try to be a bit lower heading into heading into the flight.
Yeah, there's a lot of added obstacles with this fight. Being in Abu Dhabi, but I love it. Even the more obstacles, the better. It just makes the victory that much sweeter. And I'll be prepared for all of it. And I'm always trying to keep my weight low, so that's nothing different.
How important is this win? Just to kind of remind everyone you're still a real threat of the lightweight division because you didn't fight at all last year.
Yeah, it's definitely a big deal. But every fight, every next fight is the biggest fight. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Your guy doesn't call a lot of people. A lot of people call out you. Do you think a win over Ottman, you finally get on that mic and call someone out?
Yeah, we'll see. Got to see how I'm feeling at the time.
And it's obviously a long flight out there. Do you got anything you're bringing with you to pass the time?
Nothing really. I mean, I got a couple books that I never read that I'll try to read. But listen to podcasts. We'll see. I've been like watching the people going out there to Fight Island, and I know some of them get like the nice first class where they can like lay down and extend their feet. Like, so hopefully I get a good seat like that.
Your teammate and one of your close friends, Billy Quarantillo, just lost. What'd you make of his performance? Because that was one of the best fights on that card.
Yeah, it was a great fight, and it was a real good like growing and learning fight for Billy. He got out of that fight with no serious injuries, so that's always good. And he's gaining experience, and he's been on a tear. And that Gavin Tucker definitely did his homework and prepared. But I think in the end of the day, Billy will just be way better from that loss, and I'm excited for him to be able to show that.
Is he coming out to Fight Island, or who's coming out there with you?
He is. Billy Q's going to be there. My beat up dummy that I can beat up the whole fight week. And then I got my head coach and manager, Matt Arroyo, coming up, and my Muay Thai coach, Dan Rawlings.
Do you and Billy ever want to compete on a card together?
Yeah, we came up fighting amateur on the same card. We fought so many times on the same card coming up. So being, fighting in the UFC on the same card would definitely be cool.
How big is training with Billy Q? Because that guy literally does not get tired. Like, I bet you he pushes you quite a bit. What helps your cardio out?
Yeah, he definitely he's a freak when it comes to that. And some guys are just like that. I always describe Billy Q. You put him in the pool, you put him sprints, you put him on the bike, you put him on anything, and I'll smoke him. I'll smoke him in anything really. But and then when we're sparring, he'll just go rounds after rounds after rounds after rounds. And then I was thinking about it, I was like, how is that? But that cardio is just as mental as it is physical. And I think that being comfortable, being tired, being comfortable tired is what makes people have good cardio. Everyone's going to get tired, but you have to be comfortable being there. And I learned that from Billy Q, and that's how I got my cardio.
And just last thing, like, how big will that cardio be for you in this fight?
Oh, it'll definitely be big. If I don't finish him in the first round, I could definitely see him fading as the fight goes with what I'm going to do to him, and finishing him late.
Actually, just one more thing is because you didn't fight last year, everything goes your way. Like, how quickly would you want to turn this thing around? I bet you want to be pretty active this year.
Yeah, definitely. Go out there, handle business, no injuries. I want to get right back to it and turn around as soon as possible. I'm getting married in September this year, so definitely want to get at least 2 fights in before that.
And get a couple bonuses too to help pay for it.
Exactly, that sounds about right.
All right, well, Matt, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, of course. Shout out to BJ Penn. He was the first. That was actually the first book I've ever read, like on my own, like enjoyed a book. Was that BJ Penn Why I Fight back in the day. So I've always been a huge BJ Penn fan since then.
All right, well, Matt, thank you so much, man. We're joined with Roxanne Modafferi. Roxanne, how's it going?
Fantastic. Just got done training.
Oh, that's good. Heading out to Abu Dhabi. Are you looking forward to that, or do you wish it was back in Vegas? Because I know for you fighting in Vegas, it's a quick little drive.
Exactly. I live like 20 minutes from the Apex, so I for sure wish it were in Vegas, but it can't be helped. I'm happy to be in the UFC and get a fight.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure you've probably seen the plane rides, like you're riding like first class and all that. Will that be your first time doing that?
What?
You haven't seen it?
Woo!
Yeah, you get like a nice little thing, like a whole bed and everything. It's nice.
Dang, I didn't know. Cool. All right. Well, they better.
And you really good win last time out against Andrea Lee. That was the second time you fought her. What do you take away from that? Because you guys were two completely different fighters that fight compared to when you fought way back when.
Yeah, I actually think that we were very, similar, but we both got better in every aspect, and it kind of showed. Like both of our striking was better, and both of our grappling was better, and the game plan was similar. But I'm happy to get the win. Oops.
And you're fighting on a Wednesday. Is that going to be weird for you?
Probably, but I have a feeling I'll be so jet lagged and confused as to what day it is. It's not going to really matter.
And Viviane Araujo, is that someone you had your eye on? Or was this just kind of who the UFC offered you?
I fight whoever they offer me, but frankly, I'm just excited I'm not having another rematch. It's like,
Yeah.
yes, it's somebody new. I think I've had like 9 rematches in my career or something.
Yeah. Do you get a bit more excited fighting someone new, like having to do all that new
Yes.
research and stuff, not having
Yes.
I have to go fight them.
And I didn't really think about it until I had to fight Andrea Lee again. I'm like, boy, she got better. It would be great if I didn't fight her again. And here you go, fight her again. I'm like, all right. So now I'm happy, it's somebody new.
And Viviane Araujo is one of these girls that's been on a bit of a winning streak, has some hype. She obviously lost Jessica Eye, but then good win against De La Rosa. What have you taken away from her past couple of performances at flyweight?
Man, she looks really sharp and quick and ninja-like with her attacks. So I have to be ready for my own techniques and counters.
And you obviously, everyone knows your jiu-jitsu is a strong point. Your striking has gotten miles better too. So is this a fight you think you're comfortable everywhere? Because you and Araujo to me are very similar, where if it hits the ground, both of you guys are really good, but both of you guys have underrated striking.
Yeah, wherever it goes, I shall implement my game plan.
How do you see it playing out though?
Bonk, crash, tap.
Yeah. Your hand raised at the end.
Exactly.
That's all that matters. And I always bring up the betting odds with you. Did you see the odds for your fight?
Oh, I didn't. Please tell me what they are.
Well, what do you think you are?
Probably an underdog. I'll say plus 300.
Oh, plus 265.
Dang, I'm close. Go me.
Close. You're always the underdog when we talk.
Heck yeah. Please bet and make money off of me.
And has this camp still always been at Syndicate for this one?
Oh, yeah.
Well, what's it like we're in there? Because there's been a lot more girls coming into Syndicate as well. It's been some good looks for you.
You know what? It's so great to have a lot of female training partners. Just the weight distribution of the body types is different than dudes. However, all the girls try to kill each other in the gym. Not really. Some do, some don't. But it's nice to have a lot of female training partners. I like to mix it up with the guys as well. Just all around to have a great team. A lot of girls and guys of all weight classes, of all different skills. So it's just great. I think it's so awesome. A lot of good coaches. John Wood, the head coach. Lately, I've been working with guns, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. Jerry Shapiro. Let's see. Lorenzo's my strength and conditioning coach. Awesome. Mike Pyle's awesome. It's such a great team.
You're still ranked in the top 10, but Araujo's ranked one spot below you. Do you hope a win here, you finally get that push up instead of fighting all these up-and-comers?
To the top. Let's go.
And the flyweight title fight happened recently. What did you make of Shevchenko's win?
I was traveling. I didn't get to see it. So I don't know. I heard it was a great fight.
And someone I wanted to talk to you about is when your teammates Jordan Levitt picked up his UFC win. What did you think of that?
Picked up his win. Was that a
Yeah.
Under there? Very good, very good. Yeah, I'm just so happy for him. He's such a crazy. He has such a crazy style, very interesting style. It's like unbeatable on the ground in the gym, so I'm happy to see him go out there and get his UFC debut and win. And I think we were made into a meme. I'm super excited because we took the picture heel hooking each other like, yeah. So it's awesome. He's cool. You guys should tune in to see him fight. Also, Natan Levy's a ninja. So
Yeah, what have those guys been? Because they're obviously really good on the ground as well. How important have those looks been?
You mean training with them?
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really good. Really good. We're all a happy team.
Yeah. And obviously heading out to Abu Dhabi, you have to do all that quarantine. Are you going to be bringing anything with you to just pass the time by?
That's a great question. The coaches were talking about video games.
Yep.
Cool. Maybe I'll see if I can upload some stuff on my iPad or whatever. Books, maybe if I can have Wi-Fi, I'll watch all the anime.
Yeah, that's a long plane ride too. That would have to be a bit boring after a while.
Oh, books, like, man, I love reading, but I only seem to have time on airplanes because the internet is so distracting. Watch me. So I'm actually looking forward to getting through some books. I love fantasy books, and I also have I read child psychology books to help me coach kids' jiu-jitsu classes. So I have one of those. Also anti-bullying, so I got one of those to read.
Oh, I didn't know you were coaching.
Yeah, I teach kids jiu-jitsu, and it's great to have psychology to, teach them to be good people. I got the young group, the 5, 6, and 7-year-olds, so I take it very seriously.
Do any of them really know who you are or what you do, or are they just a teacher to them?
Well, now they do. When I fight, they watch me fight, and I've been sent videos by some of the parents where they're like, "Coach Roxanne" at the TV. It's so cute. I'm like, oh, try to do jiu-jitsu for them. I'm like, oh, cover their eyes with the elbow when the elbows.
Yeah.
Like, please show them the takedowns.
Fighting in January again. Last time you fought last January, you obviously picked up a big win. Hoping to just keep that momentum going.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And just a few more things. Obviously, flyweight division's wide open. There's no real next contender. There's like Lauren Murphy's right there.
Guys,
Lauren Murphy deserves the next title shot.
Thank you for mentioning her name. She has like 4 wins or something ridiculous, 5 in a row. She needs the title shot. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what everyone else's problem is, but she needs the title shot.
I think she deserves it too. She's done more. Like Jessica Andrade, obviously a good win over Chicago, but that's 1-0.
And JoJo really should have had the next title.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to get in trouble, but she should have had it. She had some wins in a row. Lauren Murphy. So I hope it's like Lauren and then JoJo.
Yeah, and I guess JoJo's fighting right near you. So how's that been? You guys are kind of aiming for that same date.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I actually have another best friend who's fighting like that same time, and like I want to focus on myself, but I also feel like I need to help them train for their fights too. So it sucks, but we'll just get through it.
I'm surprised because I talked to a lot of people and they like when their teammates are on just because it's the training's all peak. You would prefer to like you fight in January, someone fights in March, all that.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
And just last thing, like with a win here, like how quick you want to turn this around? Because you're someone that you like to be active, but you don't like when's the ideal time frame if you get your hand raised?
Whenever, next weekend.
Yeah, you're someone that likes to get active. It just seems the UFC doesn't keep you as active as you'd want.
Before, no, I was like begging and they only gave me like 2 a year, but now I feel like with the whole COVID thing, they're really trying to push a lot of cards through. So I've been getting a lot of offers. It's cool. Super happy.
Actually, just one more thing. You've been doing a couple of grappling events. What has that been like? Because I saw you did one in October, November. You did one.
Yeah, it's so awesome. I really want to do that more. I just recognize the UFC takes priority, but excuse me, that was really cool. That was actually my first event as a black belt to compete, and that forced me into the world of leg locks that I've been procrastinating on going into because I hate leg locks. So I basically fought, I was offered and I accepted knowingly, and I fought the best like female leg locker in America. And I basically like took several private lessons every week to prepare for that. And I lasted 9 minutes out of 10 against her. She finally caught me in the last 30 seconds with a toe hold, but I was pretty happy I defended all that. But from here on out, anywhere it goes, I'll be ready.
All right, well, Roxanne, thank you so much for doing this again. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.